Good evening, one and all, or morning. It's me, James.
Hey, Andy.
Welcome to War with a Mate. It's the only podcast ever that will ever exist that is centered around playing the campaign for North Africa, where we're involved. I can assure you that.
Might be shooting down future opportunities.
I am. I'm burning some bridges right now, but I'm happy to do so. That's showbiz, Andy. You've got to...
You gotta burn bridges to make bridges.
If you want to make it big in showbiz, you got to crack a few eggs. They've always said that, the showbiz people. The celebrity on the couch, he always says that.
He is mumbling that stuff.
Tossing and turning in his restless sleep.
I'm curious to how much of his mumbled advice is worth taking, seeing as he sleeps on my couch.
Well, I heard about a sequel to one of his films that he mentioned, and it's a film that doesn't really need a sequel, so that guy should really back off.
Don't dox him.
The day's coming.
There's not very many sequels that don't need to be made coming out. It's not the main type of film.
Yeah, that's a good point. All films now are original.
Yeah, it's a golden age of cinema.
You know what? Today's a golden age of War with a Mate.
It is.
It's been a really solid play session. This, I hazard to say this, and this is risky, but this is one of the best ones.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm interested. It's interesting you think that as well.
What? So, and that comment will, I suppose, become more understandable as we go on. I haven't had the best time today in terms of my results in the game session, but it felt like playing a game today.
Yes,
and that doesn't always happen.
It did feel like dynamic, and a lot of decisions were made by both of us.
It was a long one. It was in depth. There were a lot of moving parts to it.
A lot of combat.
A lot of combat. So I guess why don't we dive straight in, and we'll start with where we started. We started with me. I am the Alpha. I will be the Omega.
It's player A and B. There's none of this Greek shit.
Yeah, Alpha and Bomega.
Okay, there you go.
Bomega, isn't that what they have in New York, the shops?
Oh yeah, you go down to the Bomega for
Yeah.
some cigarettes and a sandwich.
That just says a lot about your lifestyle, that's what you buy at the Bomega.
That's what they sell at Bomegas.
Oh, so anyway, aside from Bomegas, I decided to move because that's part of the sequence of play. And in moving, I only moved 2 guys.
Which is a lot for your recent terms.
That's actually groundbreaking development. So I decided to move some people. I moved, specifically, black shirts. If we're narrowing it down, if we're getting specific, which I suppose I will, I'll break it down granularly, since no one else was here apart from us two. And I guess that's what this podcast is. So I moved 2 black shirts. I moved the fourth are in the same place. So I moved the first
to Tobruk.
And I moved the second. The first moved from Bardia to Tobruk. That was a pretty straight transfer up along the road. They aren't motorized, so it was a bit of a trod. I think they actually had to overexert in order to make the journey.
Pathetic.
But shut up. Shut up, Mr. Truck. And the other guys that moved were the second black shirts. Now, that was a bit more of an involved movement. I moved the first because you recently put the 4th Indian Division in Fort Madalena. I don't like it when you put your guys there because it means that you've massacred my SGSUs, but c'est la vie. So I thought, let's reinforce Tobruk, because that is one of your win conditions. If you hold Tobruk and you can trace a supply line back to your city,
yes,
then I'm in trouble. That means you've won. So I don't want that to happen. I won't allow that to happen. So I'll reinforce it. The alternative move I made would have been to, I guess, surrender Tobruk and try and stop the other win conditions, but I think Tobruk, weirdly enough, is the most likely win condition, and it's the most difficult win condition.
Yeah.
Because I've sort of surrounded all of the other areas.
To get to Bardia, I have to kill, 250,000 people.
But you can do a bit of a convoluted supply line that just kind of horseshoes around them.
Well, I could go from my supply dump.
Yeah.
Build one at Fort Magdalena.
Mm-hmm.
And then one more.
That's my worry. It's that you're going to snake around and create a supply line that I can't do anything about because you've boxed me in. Yeah. So Tobruk needs to be reinforced. The other move was moving the second. Now, the second black shirts have a bit of a conundrum because you pinned a bunch of them last week.
Yes, they got my entire Air Force drop bombs on them.
Yeah, which not great for me because you pinned 5, and we had to do a bit of admin rework because I only had 4 of them noted as pinned. So 5 of them were pinned, so those 5 had to stay behind. The remaining second black shirt division, they decided to trot off away from map C and onto map D.
And I'm sure this will be a Saharan detachment situation where the guys you left behind will catch up.
Maybe. Well, we'll actually talk about that today because you know what happened.
Ooh, spoilers, foreshadowing.
Right, you were there. And don't be glib because you've been glib enough.
Glib's one of my better moods.
What are your top 3 moods then? If glib is one of your better moods.
Ecstatic.
Ecstatic. Where are you putting that?
I'd say 1.
1? All right. Ecstatic from you is a bit grating, so I'll put it at 3.
Okay. Euphoric.
Euphoric. When have you ever been euphoric?
When I'm not hanging out with you.
Oh. You're hearing a podcast unravel live, folks. This is my final episode of War with a Mate. I'll be getting in a replacement host.
And then the third one is glib.
Okay. I disagree, but we agree to disagree. There's a little mini common ground. I think your moods are bad. You shouldn't show emotion.
I try not to.
You should just be a sounding board for me to say things at.
Horrible.
Don't stretch your shirt over your knees like that.
Why not?
Because it's unnerving.
I'm creating a difficult silhouette to manage.
You look like you've got really saggy naturals. It's really bad.
That's very saggy.
It looks like because you've got your hands placed on your knees, and you're sitting down in an office
position.
chair. It's not a power position. In no culture or society has that ever been a power position. It looks like you're giving birth. Now you look like a spider. Stop making movements. Stay static, please. Yeah, bow your head in shame. Some of my black shirts, they moved.
Yes.
And in amongst that movement, they had to do a bit of maneuvering because leaving 5 infantry behind is tough. But they're all motorized. Everyone involved is motorized. Bear that in mind for those keeping track at home. They dotted off onto map D. They've made it a little bit further along a track and they've dipped over or down a slope. So they are only 4 or so hexes away from Mercer Matru.
Yeah, they're probably like 3 along and like 4 down or something. They're very close.
Yeah, they are right around the corner. So that was a nice, comfortable position for me. I thought I'd really snookered you because I've darted off into the desert. I'm moving towards your areas. That's dangerous. And I've also reinforced Tobruk. So I thought, nothing you can do about this. However, the horrible reality of the situation is we're talking about divisions at this point. We're not doing truck bandit stuff anymore. It's all divisions for the most part. So you decided to retaliate.
I did.
And how did you do that?
Well, we'll start with a not very big one. My Polish division, who'd been hanging out in Cairo, have moved for the first time. They're now sort of halfway between Cairo and Alexandria. Mm-hmm. So they can get to either in an op stage if they need to.
That was interesting. Seeing them start to move, didn't expect that. Don't know why.
I guess precedent was they've never moved.
Yeah, historically, they're not known for moving.
Yeah. I moved in reaction to you sending your second. I moved the 16th Infantry back along the road to Mercer Matru.
Yes.
So you can't swing in behind me and take that. Then I got a little... Well, then the 7th attacked the Maletti again for a classic. They've done that 3 or 4 times now. Got 50% losses?
Yes, overall. It was 40%, but it became 50%.
Because you didn't retreat.
I did not retreat.
Which was a smart move.
Well, why would I?
Yeah. And while that had been happening, I'd moved the 4th up from Fort Magdalena a bit, so they were 2 hexes below your wall near Hellfire Pass, just below Bardia.
Which concerned me, because immediately I'm thinking, if you end your movement within 2 hexes of one of my guys, you get to move again within that same op stage. That was the option.
Yeah.
So when you did that, I was thinking, where's he going to move? And you moved in mysterious ways.
Yes. Well, the 7th attacked Maletti, did like 50%. Then I attacked them again and did like 10 or something. It was like not a great. Because they fought them twice.
Maletti?
Yeah, the 7th fought twice.
Oh, yes.
Oh, no, sorry. What happened? The first one, I didn't commit very much.
Yes.
And then the second one, I was like, I'm just getting these guys out of here, so I overcommitted.
Yes, the first one was 25%, I believe. No, that was someone else. I'm losing track. This is a fun recap.
Yeah, we've noted it down. Anyway, the 7th attacked them twice and did a chunk and then 50% of whatever was left.
Yes, which is it's a heavy loss for guys who are already not doing great.
Yeah. But because you decided not to retreat, I had to change of plan, because the plan was the 7th were going to go up and join the 4th, and those two were going to slam into your Bardia guys, causing some chaos.
Yes.
But I'd have to use too much CPA to get round your wall, because I was fighting the 7th for in the middle of it, and they'd have to go down and then around.
Yes. No, it's all coming together now. You did 25% on the Milady,
Yeah.
but it was only 25% of my committed forces.
Yeah.
And then you really went hard, and then you took off 50% of everyone.
Yes.
And that was a heavy hit. So they're not doing particularly well.
Yeah.
The artist formerly known as Milady Division is really bad. So that's a shame, because they started off this game, this scenario, pretty solid.
Yeah, I remember you saying you'd put them there because they were one of your more robust divisions, so that's why they anchored the wall.
Yeah, they took a few licks beforehand, but they were still ready to hold off. But now they've ended up in a sort of Libyan division situation where they've just been absolutely chewed up and spat out.
Yeah.
So they're in a bad spot.
I've noticed the Libyan division is up at Bardia now.
Yes, both
First
Libyan divisions.
Yeah, because they both took a mauling, didn't they?
Yes, first and second are both next to Bardia, one north, one south.
Yeah.
Because I dipped them into there to resupply briefly,
Yes.
and then took them back out, and then I put the first black shirts in. So that left me in a bit of an uncomfortable position where you're battering the Milady, and I've left behind 5 infantry from the second black shirts.
Yes.
And your response was to pincer them.
Yes, because the 4th weren't going to make any headway up north.
Yeah.
They looped back to the east.
Yeah.
And then, because the attack wasn't happening there, the 2nd New Zealand, who were on the coast, ready to move up and take advantage, they decided to loop around the escarpment.
Cowards.
Sure.
It's actually one of the bravest moves you've made.
Yeah. So your remaining 2nd black shirts, 5 companies of infantry,
Yes.
and the 63rd
63rd Serene.
I got them in the pincer,
You did. You really boxed them in.
and I hammered them. After some interesting discussion about whether or not you'd retreat.
It was a difficult one, because that one, we sat there and I debated that for about 45 minutes. I was looking through my stats, all my guys, and the position was kind of a diamond shape, where my guys were on the south of it.
Yeah.
You had guys on the west and east, and then the 63rd Serene were in the north of that, but they were pushed right against an escarpment.
Yes.
The same escarpment that I planned to use against you. So my options were, I could retreat the 63rd and push them over the escarpment, swallowing up most of their CPA.
And probably destroying all your tanks.
Well, that's it. My tanks going down there would be absolutely obliterated.
Yeah.
So that was a risky move, and it would also mean committing the black shirts left behind to death,
Yes.
because they were not going to win that fight.
No.
So I decided, I'll stick in, I'll go for the fight, I'll fire off a couple barrages, I'll see what I can do. Because the black shirts that are there, they were there because they're pinned. They can't retreat before assault. No. So they were there regardless. My initial plan was, if they could break off and retreat, I would have them dart over the escarpment and then sneak over to your trucks towards the northeast.
City Barani.
At City Barani, and then take those trucks and dart off and truck bandit it.
Yes.
But I couldn't do that. And the 63rd, if they go down the escarpment, will not have the CPA to get to those trucks.
No, because it's escarpment into rough, and then either through quite a bit of rough, or a loop through clear, which is longer and probably would have been about the same.
All in all, it pans out at something like 3 times the CPA they could actually expend within a single op stage.
Oh, wow.
Because I've got infantry in there and they're not motorized.
Oh, so are they 8s as well? Or 10s?
I've got 8s in there.
Oh, so yeah, they're the
So 8 CPA,
denominator for the...
which turns to 12 if I overexert them, because infantry can only go 1.5 times.
Yeah.
So that becomes an untenable situation. It almost becomes that just to move in the retreat.
Yeah, it's not a nice position. That is the thing about the escarpment, is it does really pin you. Even if you can't go up it, can you?
You can't go up with motorized vehicles.
Yeah.
You can go up non-motorized, but I think it's a +6.
Yeah, so it's all you do in that turn.
Yes. So it's crazy expensive.
Which makes sense, because, like, thinking back to the Libyan sand stuff, when they were going up that escarpment, and they had to, like, lower the things on, like, literal ropes, because it was so steep.
Yeah.
Like, these escarpments are just cliffs.
I think if you go down an escarpment with motorized, it's a +8 to CPA.
And more than that. It's like 16 to break down, is it? Or is
something.
it 8 to break? It's whatever it is. It's nuts.
It's dastardly. That's adding on top of the hex movement itself.
Yeah.
So all in all, I'm boxed in there. What am I going to do? I commit to the fight. I drop 2 barrages. I didn't look at the 63rd's guns beforehand, so all I've got are shit guns, shit barrages.
Yep.
So I dropped 2 barrages. Yeah, so I drop 1 barrage point on each of these barrages.
Yeah.
And I go for 2 of your infantry on the 4th Indian.
Which, to be fair, has worked quite well for you in the past sometimes. The,
My
like,
scattershot approach.
Scattershot rather than, like, focus fire.
And today, again, it paid off.
You did get one.
53 or higher, it hits, and I got a 54.
Yes.
So, incredible work. I managed to pin one of your infantry. So happy about that. Oh my god. They are absolute marksmen with these weapons. So I do the dirty on you, and with that beautiful shot, pin one of your infantry. Doesn't help.
No.
Doesn't help a lick. Because then the fight comes down.
Well, before that,
you barrage.
To counter, I pin one of your tanks and one of your infantry.
You pinned 2 infantry and 1 armor.
Did I not miss one of the infantry?
No, you got...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you got...
Oh, no, yeah, they were all like 60.
Yeah, you got both infantry, and you got my armor. You probably think of my missed infantry barrage.
Maybe, yeah.
So, my armor's pinned, 2 of my infantry are pinned, you're taking away from my already lackluster fight. Which means when it boils down to the actual combat, we have a pretty nasty differential of +11 in your favour.
Yes.
That comes from my -1 morale on the 63rd.
I had +1, +2 morale, sorry.
Yeah.
So 3 from that.
3 from that. And that differential was nasty. So I end up on well, you've got a +11. That puts me into the overrun category. And you hit them hard. You roll for a 40%. And because they're pressed up against the precipice of this escarpment, it means I can't really afford to be swallowing up that CPA.
No.
So they stay in place. And by staying in place, they lose an additional 10%. That's 50%. 50% loss on that attack. That is a full division that hasn't taken any losses before, as well as those 5 infantry left behind.
Yeah, it was... Well, those 5 infantry, when you were dispersing the cavalry, the casualties, they're all dead.
All of the 5 infantry left behind are killed in that fight, and so are my tanks from the 63rd. So you've essentially gutted the majority of the infantry from the 2nd.
Yeah.
They showed up in that situation. They arrived in that garrison of the wall as a fully formed division that have just come from Tripoli. They were the ace up my sleeve, and now they're mostly dead.
Yeah.
That is one hell of a swing.
Yeah, this was definitely the highest like casualties for an op stage.
In terms of actual lost battalions, yes. I think I might have lost more men overall, where I've managed to keep together battalions with like 1 or 2 toll points.
Oh, yeah.
But with this, you wiped out 5 battalions entirely.
Yeah. So the 4 bottom divisions of that wall, from what I can tell, are all in pretty bad condition now.
They are all now fighting a battle where it's less about beating you in the fight and more about delaying you in the fight.
Which brings me to something that this session highlighted for me, and I do not have an answer for, and I need one for the main game, I think.
Which is how to break through these impenetrable walls of steadfast guys who will just swallow up percentage loss.
It's how to finish a division.
Yeah.
Because they're percentage losses. you can just sit there, and because you can not retreat if you don't want to and take the losses. It's like the losses are capped at like... If you do very well, you could get 60% losses.
Yeah.
But that's like 60 and then 60 and then 60 until there's one toe point. And then I don't know the exact finishing state.
Well, it becomes very much a game of chess, because if you can force a surrender, but that surrender is into another zone of control, then I surrender immediately. Like if you force me to retreat.
But the thing is, you can not retreat and take the 10%.
I can, but when that 10% starts to stack up, if you're hitting me with overwhelming odds where it's 50 and then 50 goes to 60 with the extra 10%, and if I'm starting to lose 60 and I'm halving every time, yes, it will take a while, but that also starts to stack up where the cohesion drops.
Yeah, I guess it does build up to the surrender. Which is it 14 you need?
14 sounds right. I think 14.
Before surrender becomes like an option.
Yes. So at that point, you have a few different ways to get me. It's through the forced surrender with the retreat box.
Yeah.
Or the cohesion drops massively.
Because I guess if you get over 30% casualties, it's free.
3 cohesion loss.
Yeah, and then also every hex you should have had to move and didn't is
2?
one.
1 or 2, 1 or 2, yeah.
So if you have to do 3, you might add 3.
And the big benefit we found today, we were looking into the rules, and I did a bit of a delve into the rules today, and I felt quite proud of myself, because I remembered a lot of working parts when I was looking at this little plan I had to take the retreat before assault and grab your trucks.
Yeah.
Which is that stacking points do affect retreat. So if I'm trying to retreat, I can't just dart through one of my units as if they don't exist. I have to factor in their existence in a hex.
Yes.
Just because I'm moving through them doesn't mean they don't exist.
Yeah, they add cost, don't they? Like from division to battalion to like company is like, I don't know the exact.
Well, it means I can't pass. So I need to bear. So, for example, the 63rd are 5 stacking points. They're a division.
Yeah.
I had 5 individual battalions there. They are all 1.
Yeah.
I could only have moved one of them over that guy.
Because it's 6 on a clear.
Yeah. I couldn't have moved all 5 of them in the retreat.
Right, okay, I see now.
So that was something I factored in. And also something we found as a fucking great bonus for me with my non-movement over the last 2 op stages is every op stage that a unit does not expend CPA, apart from training, you regain 5 cohesion points.
That's big.
That's insane.
Well, that's 2 lost fights, basically.
Yeah.
Which is a big... Yeah.
And it's only 1 op stage.
And it also works very nicely for your, like... Because you've had quite a static defense. So it means if you're cycling the divisions through like you have been...
Then as long as you can't get through
that build up, yeah.
Yeah, if you can't get through in 1 op stage, then I've recovered what I've lost for the most part.
Yeah.
So I was incredibly happy with that. So I've lost a lot of the second black shirts. The 63rd have only lost some tanks.
Yes.
Well, all of their tanks. They've lost all their tanks. But I'm happy to take that. I'm happy to swallow that. The issue is, going forward, I'm in a bit of a situation. I don't have anything to do with that wall anymore, apart from just pivot the wall round.
Yes, it has. I don't know how to describe this. It feels like the axis of the wall has gone from north-south to northeast to southwesterly.
Yeah.
Like, it's gone diagonal, and it's sort of wheeling towards Bardia a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to have to loop round and cover Bardia, which, I mean, I have to. That's how the game works. But this second black shirt push has to come in clutch. It has to be important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm sacrificing everything. I described it to you when we were playing. The 63rd situation, it felt a lot like sacrificing a queen to win the game.
Yes.
Thankfully, instead of sacrificing a queen, I just sacrificed 2 bishops. But that's still bad.
Yeah.
That's still terrible. That might be worse. That's more pieces.
I think you can be a lot more sort of sacrifice happy at the minute because you're not losing stuff for 105 turns.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'd feel, if I was doing what I'm doing to you now in the game, I'd feel very good about it.
If you pull this off in the full game, then I don't know what I'll do. I don't know how I'll be able to continue to play.
Well, it'll get to an Operation Compass thing where the Italians are wiped out and it's just Germans coming in.
That's a very good point. You might just hold North Africa for 5 or 6 turns.
And then Rommel shows up. Because I can't win until turn, is it 34 or something?
And I think that's because there's historical precedent where I just lose.
Yeah, you kind of are with the historical accuracy. Although I don't think the game captures how good O'Connor was or anything. But, like, yeah, they did wipe out the Italian 10th and 8th armies. Okay.
I've invoked Fruit Zone.
The Fruit Zone.
Raspberry or watermelon?
Raspberry.
I'm actually quite into watermelon at the moment.
The Fruit Zone.
I mean, yeah, you say wiped out. That's not going to happen to me.
We'll see.
I just had a moment there to think about it.
Okay.
And I don't think that's going to happen. I think I'm going to be all right.
Okay.
I've still got a unit coming from Tripoli.
For the scenario?
Yep. They're still walking over.
Where are they now?
Somewhere off map.
Oh, so they're not going to be... Okay.
The 410 army.
Oh, how are they?
They are... I think they're like 5-2.
Oh, because when you said the Vortex army, I was like, is that multiple division? Is it like an army? An army's made up of multiple divisions?
No, it's some sort of like shell unit.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I think they've got like a max 2 of 10.
Oh, okay.
But they're actually quite pitiful.
Yeah, it's a max 2 of 10, and they have, like 1 or 2 on the close assault defense thing.
Yeah, something
it's
like that.
Why would I spend the replacement points to bring this up to full strength?
It's not worth it. It's not worth it at all.
No.
So I'm not going to be too concerned about losing entirely. I think I can hold you off until Rommel shows up if I play carefully next time. Or I just go hard and I wipe you out from go.
Yeah, well, that is, I guess, the advice.
That's the advice we've had from the start.
Echoes of War guys, and is that... And also, I guess, it was meant to be an offensive, and they didn't do an offensive in real life. And
cowards.
It didn't work out, so...
But if we're trying to capture the verisimilitude, then me losing is actually being true to history. So either way I win. I'm either a historian or a good guy when it comes to war games. So take your pick, Andrew.
Historian?
Or should I say Andy?
You can say either, I guess. I don't know why you're switching it up, but you can.
I call you Big A.
Weird. Don't like that.
Stands for anus.
I know.
You're an asshole.
I knew that's what it stood for. That's why I didn't like it.
One of your top moods. Number 4, contempt.
It's less of a mood and more of an emotional baseline.
Yeah, that's where you start most play sessions, I feel.
Yeah, it's a mood if I get off that.
You get off.
If I get off that.
Stop getting off during the game, you freak. You pervert.
Why don't you let me have any fun?
Don't get off during the game, you sick man. God. It's an old board. It's a 50-year-old board game.
So?
Different strokes.
Speaking of different folks, have we got some mail?
I didn't say different folks.
I said different strokes. I was doing a transition.
All right, fine. Well, I'm going to allow that. We've talked about the game. That's where the game wrapped up, so I suppose mailbag seems like a fair transition.
So yeah, we got off turn 5 up stage 2 trucks to finish next time.
Yeah, we're approaching the end of turn 5. That's crazy. What else is crazy are the emails that we've received. They're not particularly crazy. They're actually just quite normal emails that we've received. So our first email comes from Brooke. And the email reads, "Good day, mates. One of your Australian listeners here, emailing from the not-so-distant past of episode 60. I was going to wait until I caught up to email to make sure I wasn't copying someone else, but your common ground about returning to 22-episode season was, I think, entirely correct. And as anyone who knows me could attest, I never stopped talking about it. Doctor Who was mentioned, and I think that's a very good example. Even if it previously wasn't quite as long as some of the long-season shows, the show does not work with so little breathing room. This is also why I think the best thing Marvel Studios ever made for TV was their very first show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which was great both at season-long narratives and at Monster of the Week with an overarching thread.
I did watch like the first season of that and enjoy it.
I haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but when it comes to Monster of the Week balanced with overarching season arc, Buffy the Vampire Slayer is the apex at that. And I'll hear nothing else. There's a reason that it's beloved and a cult classic. One of my favourite television shows of all time, maybe even number one. And that's because that is absolutely fantastic at Monster of the Week, while having an arc that continues through the season and multiple seasons, the show itself. But it's still got the fun campiness of the... You can have an episode that's self-contained enough where you pick it up on a rewatch and it's just that one episode.
Yeah.
Like a casual fan or someone who's not seen the show can watch a one-off episode, and for the most part, it will just work as an hour of television on its own.
Yeah. Well, when we used to live together, you'd quite often have it on, and I'd just come in and watch it, and then just occasionally be like, well, who's that? But like, it's a show you could drop into, especially with someone who has watched it a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's great for a number of reasons, and I think having that opened up, the likes of Doctor Who, I think is fantastic for that. I can't think of a better suited show for that kind of season arc.
Than Doctor Who?
Yeah.
No.
Like, if Doctor Who made use of that, my God, the stuff it would pull off. But it didn't. But that's not why I'm emailing. Rather, I have a couple of history things. Firstly, while I'll only elaborate if you want me to, brackets, I wrote it all out, but then realized I was halfway through writing an essay. The ancient Egyptian pyramids, for the most part, were not, in fact, built by slaves, though they also were exactly a shining example of free labor. I think that's a weren't. They weren't exactly a shining example of free labor. That checks out.
Yes.
I also have a suggestion for a history segment, which, by the way, is certainly a highlight of the show for me. As you've occasionally alluded to, this part of the conflict between Italy, Germany, and Britain was entirely fought in places that definitely are not Italy or Britain. In other words, it's a colonial war. I was wondering if it could be interesting and useful context to do a broader focus history segment on how modern Libya and Tunisia came to be under Italian rule.
Great minds think alike.
This sounds familiar. And how Egypt ended up with Britain fighting a war on it. How did these colonies get colonized? And what was going on before then? What's the status of the Egyptian government right now? Well, if you've listened to the last 5 or 6 weeks...
We've been doing how Italy got Libya, and we will be doing how Britain gets Egypt, because that's a fucking bizarre story.
Yeah, in our sort of Monster of the Week essence of this, we've covered that, but it also has an overarching story of how we got to World War II.
Yeah. As for, if you've written an essay out and you want to send it to us, honestly, we might not read it out on the show if it's too long, but love to hear anyone's sort of area of interest or something they've done some research on. So, yeah, if it's really long, might not get read out on the show, but we always enjoy people telling us about the interest.
We love your interest. We love your crazy stuff, your wacky stuff, and Andy will definitely turn it into a history segment if he can. I'll turn it into a tangent if not.
Yeah.
So that works perfectly both ways. So please send over your big old essay, Brooke. We'd like that. You continue. If you couldn't tell, I'm a student of history myself. That said, I'm more in the cultural history field. Normally, I can never get into military history, but your podcast makes it very interesting. Hey, kudos to Andy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I've struggled to get into history, but Andy makes it that much more appealing, doesn't he? He's just got that vibe. One of our friends, Andy, Dev, friend of the show, said that you give the vibe of a history teacher. Or an English teacher, I think, was the description, which is odd because it's history.
I'll take it.
But there you go. Somewhat related, I'm currently writing my thesis on the board game of Victorian Britain and what they can tell us about the worldview of the people who made and played them. I wonder what the campaign for North Africa will tell future historians about the worldviews of the 1970s and today. From that time period, I'd much rather write about D&D. Subtle, humble, and brave regards, Brooke. Well,
yeah, I think if you're going to dive into a board game from the 70s and examine its cultural impact, do D&D first, and then maybe...
Yeah, D&D, I think, quintessential board game of... I mean, if you're talking about impact on culture, D&D is kind of the board game to go
Well,
for.
I can think of like half a dozen books I know started as tabletop RPGs,
Yeah.
and that the authors then adapted into stuff, which is like massive. Like some of the biggest stuff in Malazan, one of my favorite series, The Expanse, one of the best sci-fi series ever, both started as people's tabletop games.
I wonder what incredible piece of media we'll create on the back of the campaign for North Africa.
I don't know.
And I guess let that be a warning as well, Brooke. Don't step on our toes. Because you're talking about assessing the campaign for North Africa and its impact. I'm pretty sure two guys are already doing that. So let's not get our wires crossed here. You're in our territory here, Brooke.
It is an interesting glimpse into the past, though, just with the thesis of like board games, like
Yeah.
from the like that we probably have never heard of, like their version of like everyone's got a copy of Monopoly in like a cupboard somewhere. What's the like Victorian ubiquitous game? And
I think just like chimney sweeping. That was a good board game. You don't see that one these days.
no, it's kind of good we got rid of that one.
I don't know. I quite like the tuberculosis DLC. Downloadable content in the Victorian era is quite a fun concept.
Downflumable.
But thank you for that, Brooke. Very
Yeah,
interesting,
good email.
and it's interesting to see people suggest something that has ended up becoming a natural part of a history segment anyway, which is definitely picked up through osmosis of other mentions of the history segments, suggestions.
Oh yeah. I'd also probably read that at the time it came in and influenced.
Well, that's it. You're plagiarizing people's emails here, Andy.
Oh yeah.
So, Brooke, send in that essay. We'll plagiarize that too. We'll turn it into a history segment. But we will give you credit, if Andy remembers to. So we have another email here.
Yes, we do.
This one's subject is "Hello, lads."
Yeah. This one is from. I'm not going to dox anyone. Hello, lads.
I don't actually think we have a name on this one.
Ooh.
So we'll give a pseudonym. Gary Wright.
Gary writes, I just found your podcast relatively recently, and with the amount of times you've asked for emails, I thought I'd send one in myself.
Ah, so you're at episode 9 then. Dark times.
I do actually have a couple of questions I'd like to ask. Once you guys get the hang of the game properly, or at least as much as is reasonable to do so for any mortal, would you ever consider releasing your own addendum to the rules to lay out what you have inferred to concluded about specific rule interactions, contradictions, mistakes, etc.? Yeah, I think we are going to at some point. I think once we're into the game and more confident about them.
Oh, 100%. We'll be doing that. We have to do that.
Yeah. Also, just to explain, how we've differed from the rulebook when we have.
We read it like it's gospel. We've never deviated from it.
And then interpret
We
it.
have it in a glass case. I have it in a glass case in my heart as well.
It's a bad place to have a case.
Heart-shaped box. Also, what do you mean bad place to have a case? What do you think a pacemaker is, Andy?
It's just not a glass case.
Yeah, it is.
Inside your heart.
Oh, sorry, you're a doctor now. That's impressive. Where did you study? Where did you get your degree?
John Hopkins.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I did the whole degree, and then first day I figured out I didn't like blood or patients and left.
A doctor scared of blood. Now that's a book.
It's a short book. I walked into the hospital. It was horrible. I went home.
Cool. You have horrible prose.
It's functional prose. As you are, for all intents and purposes, the authority on the game, as some of the very few people have committed enough time to properly try and play the damn thing, I think it would be nice if you could tabulate all that into info and collect it all in a single place to make the job of anyone attempting into your following your footsteps a bit easier. Definitely, we will leave enough of a gap that they won't catch up with us. But no, we will.
Yeah, we're trailblazers. People
Yeah.
won't be able to catch up with us. They don't have the time. They don't have the setup that we have. They don't have Andy's living room.
It's a one of a kind.
Without the resources, without the infrastructure, you can't do this.
The game doesn't actually work outside my living room, which is weird that you put it in there.
I know, well, it's probably in the rules somewhere. I've not read the rules before, so I wouldn't know. But if you don't have two microphones and you don't have Andy's living room, you're kind of fucked if you try and play this game. So let that be a warning, Gary.
Speaking of people who are maybe trying to play the game, point 2, have you reached out to / talked with Veilfisk?
Oh!
They are another YouTuber who has reportedly been working on playing Campaign for North Africa for, I think, a little over a year, but has yet to actually release a single video on it. The video is forever just a week away. I think he'd made a good guest on the show as someone who's at least trying to make some form of content about the process of trying to actually play the game. Yeah, we've been seeing that week away meme for a while. It feels closer. There was a Reddit post, but no, we've not. Unfortunately, we've not had a chance to talk to him or about the game or reach out. But
Veilfisk is an interesting one because we came across Veilfisk's connection with the Campaign for North Africa after we'd already started doing this whole thing.
Well, I'd actually seen this 4 or 5D chess. You know, the one where they make it. I'd watched those videos before we started. Just good, interesting videos.
I hadn't came across any of Veilfisk's stuff before we started this. Definitely not as in joke. So when we started playing, and I found out that there was somebody who is going to be trying to. Well, I don't even know if he's trying to finish the game. He's just got this ongoing bit in his community that he's going to do a video because Veilfisk does very in-depth and over-the-top kind of wacky game scenarios like 4D chess with time travel and diplomacy if an AI played it and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very sort of heightened hard difficulty or wacky mode of games. So naturally, Campaign for North Africa video, that's very much in his wheelhouse. But yeah, this video is sort of mythological. It's never arriving. It's always a week away. But it sounds like, from what I've heard, rumbling, that video could actually come out sometime soon.
Which would be exciting, because his videos tend to be like an hour to 2 hours.
They're big videos.
Yeah.
And I feel like this one would be a particularly big one.
It'd be interesting to see how you represent playing it, or in weirdly, a 2-hour video for the Campaign for North Africa is short-form content.
Well, yeah, and Veilfisk is big as well. Veilfisk is a very big YouTube presence. We've been incredibly lucky with the people we've had on so far. We've had folks who've got a following. The Echoes of War guys, they took a real shot in the dark by coming on to guest with us before we'd released an episode. Cam came onto the podcast, who is, a great presence with a huge following and great quality content putting out there. So we were lucky to get that. We've had Nate from Breakup Gaming Society with a very diverse portfolio who's been doing it for years longer than we have. So we've been very lucky with the people we've had on. I think getting Veilfisk on as a guest be a lot of fun. I imagine we'd have stuff to talk about if he's been delving into Campaign for North Africa, but how viable that is, whether or not he'd come on, by all means, people make some noise, see if we can, but I'm not sure it's on the cards. But hey, I also didn't think I'd be playing a game for the rest of my life that I don't enjoy all that much.
We'll chuck it on the wish list.
We'll get him in there. I mean, we've got the rest of our lives, so there's plenty of wiggle room.
And speaking of not enjoying the game that much, point 3. How much of the we really regret starting this we fucking hate this game is genuine, and how much of it is played up as a bit? Whilst I do want to hear about the game from someone who's actually played it, and it would be incredibly impressive to actually complete the game, I'd hate to think that it was something you were forcing yourselves to do, or something that actively detrimental to your well-being or relationship. Sorry for the long email. Thank you for taking the time to read it, and good luck with the monumental task you set out on. I hope you guys have a good time playing the game, and may your opponent's trucks ever be fucked.
Well, Gary, because we don't have a name, so Gary it is. Well, thank you for the email, and thank you for the well wishes. And to touch on point 3, first of all, what a lovely earnest comment. What a lovely thought that you had in your mind, that you're looking out for us, because I think that's I don't think we've ever had a sort of welfare check in one of our emails before. So that's really sweet. In terms of do we play it up, I can say comfortably, and if you're sending this email early days, I can say with complete comfortable nature, no, nothing was played up. I was interested in doing this. I kind of roped Andy into it initially, and Andy graciously agreed to come along for the ride, and we invested in this. We built this idea, and I was very short-sighted with this. I've got, and I don't know, Andy, maybe you'll correct me on this. I think I've got a tendency to go off half-cocked with ideas sometimes, and I don't always think them through entirely.
That's fair to say. I would also say anyone who thought this idea through entirely wouldn't do it.
I guess that's a good point. It had to be kind of half-cocked. So when we did this, we had the structure of an idea. We thought, play a long game, do a podcast alongside it. When we started doing it, when we bought the game, when we got the equipment, when we recorded a few episodes, and when we started reading the rules, it kind of dawned on me, and less so Andy, you seem to cope with it pretty well. But you've also
I think
candid.
I'm much more laid back than you in general.
In general, but you've also been candid that you didn't think we'd follow through with this
I
idea.
think part of my early calm is like, this isn't real. This is going to end soon, and I'm going to wake up.
So with that, I did have a very overwhelming feeling at first of, this is a bad idea. I've wasted a lot of money. I've committed to something I don't really want to do. It has improved since, and I don't think I embellish how I feel with this. This is very much, I like to put in how I'm feeling with this. So the podcast is a way for us
part
to,
of it is like
to
a
vent
check-in on it.
how it is, because I'd like it to be as genuine as possible. I think this is more fun when it's real. So we want to make it entertaining through the structure of it, but if I'm talking about being pissed at the game, I am pissed at the game. Or today, I'm having fun because it feels like a game.
Yes.
And I try to keep that as raw and unfiltered as possible. And Andy does too, in the sense of when you're playing the game, you do have days where you're flat.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're tired. It's been a long day for you.
100%, yeah.
And that is part of it. That is I think the raw aspect of it is a lot of fun. However, to reassure you, Gary, we aren't doing anything that is to our actual detriment.
I actually think it's been helpful in some ways.
I think it's a lot of fun.
One, the game's fun, and two, I think helpful for me has been doing research and writing something that has to be finished like every week. Has actually been a good thing, because my typical trajectory with projects is start something, be very excited about it for like 2 days, and then never touch it again.
Which is me as well, absolutely.
Yeah. Whereas this is like, I do actually have to like focus in and write something. So that's actually been a good thing, I think.
Yeah, the history segment that you do, every week you're putting a lot of work into that. You're reading books and then translating them into a history segment for the podcast. I'm editing the podcast. That's a fun thing. I've got to figure out how to edit episodes and occasionally fuck it up. Because I don't know if anybody noticed, but a couple of weeks ago, there was an episode where partway through the history segment, the Common Ground theme just starts to play a little bit. Now, that was meant to be a joke, because Andy says something like arid ground partway through the history segment, and I'd lined it up so it played the little quiet sting of the Common Ground intro, because I thought that's a funny play on words. Then I fucked up the editing, so that slid along the clip and it just played somewhere. But it's a fun aspect of it. We've got a lot of stuff, I feel like, skill sets that we're equipping ourselves with.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of fun, and we get that from this, so it's a sweet thought, Gary. But we wouldn't do anything to damage our mental capacity to live. And we also, I don't think, you mentioned damaging our relationship. I think, well, one, we've got Common Ground to fix that every week, so we're fine.
Oh, yeah,
we might not have even got to that by the time you sent that email. But also, I mean, hanging out each week, playing a game that's horrible, I think it's a sort of baptism of fire. It forges us together.
It's a pretty unique bond as well.
Yeah, it's something that's going to last a lifetime. One of us will die, I think, before this is up, realistically. So we are committed for life. It's a bigger bond than marriage. So I think we're in it for the long haul, and I think it's had a net benefit for me personally.
Yeah.
Even if the game is insufferable.
But watch 5 years from now, the crash outs are going to be real and big.
The crash outs are coming later this year because when we start playing the
later
full game
this year.
when we play the full game and I start to realize that I now need to not make mistakes, that's going to be a different level of stress that I've never experienced before.
I also think going through 1 to 6 again is going to have a weird
I'm not gonna
deja
like that.
vu loop feeling, which I think is going to be fun.
But thank you for that, Gary. Thank you for the email, Brooke.
Yeah.
And when it comes to net positives, what we do have coming up is our very first live show. It's maybe our last live show, depending on how badly it goes. We've not done this before. It's at the UK Games Expo in Birmingham on the 30th of May.
It's literally next week when this comes out. If you're in the UK.
If you're listening to this now, then it's either already happened, or if you're quick out the doors listening to this, it's happening next week on Saturday. It is in room 4 at Piazza Suite. It is 4:30 till 5:30. It is a live episode of the podcast.
And we've had some emails from people coming, so if you are on the fence, you could maybe meet some fans. Other people who like the show.
There's a few people who are coming who've listened to the podcast before. So if you have and you're coming, or considering coming, or if you're not interested, I guess, email us, let us know. We'd
you don't have to email saying, I'm not interested.
yeah, we want to see every email from people who aren't coming. If you're coming along, let us know. We're trying to bring something along for those that let us know in advance as a little thank you. So drop a message if you're coming along, and we're excited to see you there. Otherwise, we're going to try and capture parts of it. We're not sure how much of it will be available afterwards. Could well be an exclusive show, who knows? But that will be seen. But in the meantime, if you want to interact with us, the way to do so is get us to read out the email by getting in touch. The info@warwithamate.co.uk is our email address.
Probably the best way to get in touch.
Alternatively, you've got the web forms on the website, which is warwithamate.co.uk, or the Instagram, which is just warwithamate. And we do update that each week.
Yeah.
We put a picture onto the board when I remember to take a picture.
I will say, if you sent us an email a while ago, we will get to it. We made that vow, I think, in episode 9.
Yep.
We will be getting to them, but we actually somehow have a bit of a backlog. So don't worry, they've not been lost in the ether or being ignored.
No, if you're hearing people mentioning episodes that you've not got up to yet, or things seem out of order, some emails are read out of order, some of them in different sequence. Do not worry about that. It's in there. We will get to it, we promise. By the same merit, if you're worried that we've missed it, message back in a few months.
It might give us a nudge.
Follow back through. Drop back in another one if we've missed it, and you want to bump up to the top of the queue with another interesting email. We'll read it all. That's our thing. That's our thing.
It's our USP.
It's our USP stick. USP stick. Is that just what people in America use to piss? Their penis. That would be a real great time for the fruit zone.
I'm going to let you ride the rails of
but I've spent that. So, in that case, instead of dropping into the fruit zone, I'm instead going to force upon you, Andy, a history segment. And that takes a lot longer.
The men of the long-range desert patrols were quite a sight on their return to Cairo from a month's trip to Libya. The contrast between the east and west of the Nile is very marked. In the east, the country... At this point, I gave little thought to my future, but had always been interested in boats in the sea. I am more or less in the position of a captain in command of a ship, which is on the point of sinking because errors are present.
We are absolutely not qualified to share views on history. So, Andy, where and when are we?
Well, we've run up through the Italo-Libyan War and ended with that kicking off the Balkans conflict, which will ultimately lead to World War One.
A messy situation.
Yeah.
World War One, bad time.
It was a tremendously bad time for everyone involved. But we're going to do the last bit of how we get to that, and then we're going to talk a bit about the various factions involved and some later ones.
Okay, but really setting the stage.
We're doing some World War One.
Okay, let's do some prequel stuff.
So, quote, The lamps are going out all over Europe. We shall not see them lit again in our lifetime. That's the British Foreign Secretary, Sir Edward Grey, just before the outbreak of World War One.
Okay, that's quite an ominous statement.
Yeah, that's as far as quotes go. That's one of the ones where it's like he had an eye on history when he was saying it. I think it's a bit of the Oppenheimer hat and pipe silhouette type thing.
That guy wants to make a statement, and that one sits. That one has some stopping power.
Yeah. So before we dive in, let's talk about some of the major power blocks that will go into World War One.
Okay.
So you've got sort of two sides, the Triple Alliance and the Triple Entente.
Okay, I've not heard that term before.
I'm definitely saying it wrong.
Maybe I've heard a different pronunciation.
Yeah. So the Triple Entente is, that's France, Russia, and Britain. France and Russia have a formal military alliance. Britain has an understanding with both sides and like a framework for handling colonial disputes and has treaties with both of them, but not like full-blown military alliance treaties.
It's an interesting way for them to have an alliance.
Yeah, but what solidifies the trio over time is Britain are very concerned about Germany.
I think that's fair at this stage.
Yes, because what Germany are doing at this stage is trying to build a fleet to rival Britain's.
Yeah, we wouldn't like that.
No, because we're a fleet-based superpower.
Well, we're a big island.
Yeah. So Britain's with those two because it's like that everyone's worried about Germany, and that's Britain's particular anxiety. France wants to reclaim Alsace-Lorraine, primarily, but also, again, doesn't like Germany. Alsace-Lorraine is on like the border, and in 1870, I think it was Prussia at the time, but would become Germany. Nicks it off them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then the Russian Empire is the third part of this, which is Russia sees itself as like the protectors of the Slavic people within the Balkans, and sort of they've got like a pan-Slavic thing going on at the time.
Oh, okay.
So they sort of have a sense of responsibility over that part of Europe. And also it butts up on them. They've been fighting the Ottomans, the Austro-Hungarians. They don't want the Triple Alliance.
They're Europe's daddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say. Eastern Europe's daddy.
Eastern Europe's daddy.
Yeah. Whereas the Triple Alliance, you've got the German Empire, which is the powerhouse of the alliance in terms of military and industrial. Relative new country at this point, but really on the come up. Threatening Britain's naval supremacy, which they've had since 1805, Trafalgar and Nelson.
Yeah, it's a mainstay. They don't want to lose that.
No. With them, you've got Austro-Hungary, which is large, multi-ethnic, but struggling with this growing nationalism. You know, the Ottomans are struggling with it, where it started to be like, we're Greece, we're Serbian, we're Monaco, we're not Ottoman.
Yeah.
Austro-Hungary is having the same problem.
There's a big identity crisis in Europe.
Yes, it is the rise of nationalism, which fights colonialism and then has its own problems.
Yeah, I can see how this is splitting off into... It's like one step above feudalism.
Yeah, in some ways, like the Austro-Hungarians are run by the Habsburgs. They have a king. They want it to be feudal. But yeah, everything's changing out from under them.
It's a divided time.
Yeah. And then the third member of the Triple Alliance you have is Italy, who joined seeking sort of protection and support for their imperial ambitions. They will ultimately refuse to enter the war on the side of the Triple Alliance and will join it on behalf of the Triple Entente. So, not the greatest for the Triple Alliance. But those are the two sort of power blocks in Europe, and they'll pull other countries in. They're the big two sides, though.
Pull in, dare I say, the rest of the world?
Correct.
Hey.
You would be correct to say that.
I see what they've done here.
Yeah. So, on the 28th of June, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife are on a drive in Sarajevo, which is in Bosnia, but Austro-Hungary have recently annexed it. So there's a lot of Serbians in there who aren't happy that Austro-Hungary have come in and just taken it.
Okay.
So this increasing, Serbian nationalism means they go down for like a trip to try and do some like goodwill building. And while they're there, one of the people who definitely doesn't like them having taken over and is just against them in general is Gavrilo Princip, a 19-year-old Bosnian Serb who, after a farcical sequence of events, will kill the Austrian heir, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, and kill him and his wife.
Yes.
Don't know, people probably know about the assassination, so I won't go into it too much, but they throw a bomb, it doesn't work. They go for a cafe. Franz Ferdinand's like, we should go to the hospital and see the guys who were bombed. They go down the wrong street, and the guy just walks out of the cafe and shoots him. It's one of those things where history is like, no, man, you have to die. Like,
it feels like a time traveler has reworked the situation to make sure it happens.
Yeah. And Franz Ferdinand is the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. He's also one of like 80 archdukes. It's a very weird system, but like his like cousin he was also never meant to be, but his cousin committed suicide and stuff. And a few other people like removed themselves, and suddenly he's the heir. But he had his wife, Sophia, couldn't inherit anything, and his children with her couldn't inherit anything. So he was the heir of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, but his children wouldn't have been able to inherit if they'd had them and they'd survived.
So if he dies, he cuts off a lineage.
He cuts off like a dead branch.
Right, yeah. So it's such a weird butterfly effect kind of situation where there's so many small parts moving towards this. And then the cafe situation, because this is one I learned about in school.
Yeah.
This is one I'm very familiar with. Because that situation it feels so convoluted.
Yes.
It feels, if it was like a television program, it would be bad writing.
Yeah, you'd be like, why didn't you just have them do the first act? Like, this is too many.
There's too many moving parts for no reason, because it happens not long afterwards. It's the same people involved. You're just doing the same scene twice.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Also, just a side note I learned about Franz Ferdinand. One, no one liked him. No one was actually, like, personally upset he died, really. Also, he was 50 years old at the time, and he loved hunting, and he estimated he'd personally shot 250,000 animals. This guy is a walking environmental crisis.
250,000 animals?
That's what he claimed.
Is he shooting every fucking animal he comes across?
Seemingly. It's insane. It's like 500 animals a year. It's more than one a day.
So on the day he died, he presumably killed an animal and a half at this point.
He must have done.
That's wild.
Yeah.
The numbers don't make sense.
I might look into that a bit more and find a breakdown, but that was the head, he loved hunting and killed a shitload of animals.
That's not very cool.
No. So he and his wife die in hospital after the shooting. Gavrilo Princip will have this to say: I'm not a criminal. I destroyed a bad man. I thought it was right. I cannot consider myself responsible for the catastrophe. The catastrophe he's referring to is World War One.
I mean, I guess no one would want to take credit for it, so I get where he's coming from, but also, buddy.
I will also give him a little leeway of, like, if it wasn't this, it was something else. Like, I think it's not like if he had never been born, World War One doesn't happen.
Well, no, it sounds like history was pointing an arrow towards the direction of World War One.
Yes.
And he just happened to be walking along that arrow. It was going to happen by the sounds of it. History didn't want it to not happen.
No. So this kicks off something called the July Crisis, where all of the various alliances and treaties start to get undone, pulled together. So to start with, Archduke Karl Ludwig of Austria, who's the current boss and Franz Ferdinand's dad, is pissed about his son getting shot, but more so at Serbia, and that, like, there's a opportunity here to take over Serbia as opposed to, like, my boy. So he sends an envoy to Berlin to find out if Germany will back them against Serbia for military action. Because also Austria really needs this, because for a long time Austria's strategy is just to pay people off. And to put it in perspective at this point, it's very badly managed. They shouldn't have gone into Bosnia, for instance. But they're spending 10 times less on their military than Britain is at the time, with almost 10 times the troops. Like, their military spending is entirely directed into, like, bribes. So they're just not... So they need Germany's help here.
So they're arming their men with influence.
Yeah, and, like, I guess, old weapons. So, yeah, they do really need Germany's help here, but Germany under Kaiser Wilhelm give unconditional support to them. Something that will be referred to as the blank check. So they get this check on the 6th of June, but Austria are going to try and take this and give Serbia a deliberately unacceptable ultimatum, with the intent here that if they don't accept the ultimatum, it's like pretense for war. And if they do, you've just completely, like, humiliated Serbia.
Ah.
Yeah.
It's a lose-lose then.
Yeah, it's deliberately set up to be like, fuck you, Serbia. But they hold on to this ultimatum for a while so it can have the best possible timing. Because, again, this is immediately being used for political ends. It's not about the guy who died.
Of course.
And just to give you a check-in on Europe at the time, Franz Ferdinand dies, it makes the papers, but not even, like, the front page. Like, France have got, like, a very sensational murder trial going on at the time. Britain's like, is Ireland going to have a civil war? So, like, Franz Ferdinand dies, and then there's, like, a month where no one is, like, aware of what's coming, other than, like, top-level people. So the reason they held on to the ultimatum was because France have a state trip to Russia, and these two are allies and the biggest threat to the Central Powers. So they wait until the day the French delegation leave Russia, so the French Prime Minister and President will be in transit, so they won't be able to react to the message.
Okay.
So they deliver it at like 6 p.m. on, I think it's the 23rd of June. So again, this is like almost a month after the guy got shot. They've been holding on to it since they got the blank check on the 6th of June. Like, it's...
That's a delay.
Yeah. So, yeah. The reason for the delay, this French trip, Russia feels this thing of like, we're going to protect Serbia, we're going to protect Slavs in Europe. So Austria composed the ultimatum, and then this is a quote from, I think, the minister who wrote it, is being composed so that the possibility of its acceptance is practically excluded. So they're writing this thing with the intent it will not be accepted.
What a mess.
Yeah. So Austria gives Serbia 48 hours to reply to this like 10-point ultimatum. Shockingly, Serbia comes back and goes, we accept all of them but one. We'll accept 9 of them. This one is untenable, but can we talk about it?
Okay.
The one, by the way, among the ultimatums, it's like, you need to like shut down your national newspapers. Anyone who said anything bad about the Hungarian royal family, Austro-Hungarians, we need to be able. Point 6, which is the one of contention, is Austrian police and law enforcement would be able to act with full impunity inside Serbia, which is basically just your country doesn't have sovereignty anymore. Like,
right, yeah, I get why that is the sticking point then.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, so we essentially become a vassal state. If your law enforcement can just do whatever it wants in our country, we're not
with
really a country.
Diplomatic immunity.
Yeah. Under the pretense of hunting down anyone linked to the assassination, I didn't mention, he's part of this group called the Black Hand, which has 2,500 members amongst military, politicians, journalists. It's like a Serbian independence movement / secret society terrorist group.
Well, what a fucking bad guy name as well.
Oh, yeah.
The Black Hand.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's a bit of the, are we the baddies? Must have been going on. Like,
yeah, who names their organization the Black Hand and doesn't immediately go, by the way, we're bad guys,
yeah.
Everyone.
But because it's this secret society conspiracy thing, if the Austrian police go in looking for it, they can essentially arrest anyone.
Well, yeah, it's carte blanche when it comes to how they're going to investigate, because if it goes up to the sort of upper echelons of society, and you've got fingers in all the pies with your black hand,
Yeah.
then yeah, you've got a way to just take anyone you want and disappear them, or
Yeah.
do whatever you want, really.
Yeah.
And you've got a bad guy name as well.
Yeah. It's just completely untenable in terms of, like, we cannot accept this, which is then means the Austro-Hungarian ambassador, when he hears this, immediately kicks off and severs diplomatic relations between the countries. Britain tries to hold a conference to mediate peace, being like, guys, come on, let's... and Berlin and Vienna don't even say no, they just ignore them. While this is happening, mobilization's happening across Europe. Like, they're aware war's coming. And this is when the, like, mood starts to break in terms of the general public as well, where you've got, like, the stock market crashes, you've got runs on banks, people are, like, panic buying and hoarding food. It's, like, very abruptly, oh shit. Like, as he says, the lamps are going out.
It's March 2020.
Yeah.
It's toilet paper runs on March 2020.
Yeah. While this happened, there's also huge anti-war marches in Berlin, Paris, and London, like 100,000 people plus. Like, very big anti-war. But this won't help. On the 28th of July 1914, Austro-Hungary declares war on Serbia. On the 30th, Russia orders a general mobilization of all its troops in response. The next day, Germany and France begin their own mobilization, and the same day, Germany declares war on Russia. Over the next 6 days, Germany will invade Luxembourg and Belgium. Germany will declare war on France. Britain will declare war on Germany and Austro-Hungary. And Austro-Hungary will declare war on Russia. And that's all the ties pulling, like, alliances come in, and you've got World War One.
What a fucking mess.
You may have noticed I didn't mention the Ottomans once in this, and they could maybe have not been involved at all, but we'll find out why they did get involved and why it was the end of their empire next time.
What's crazy? Yeah, you talked about what the global stage is, or I guess the European stage for this is. I'm very interested to find out how they get roped into this, because this seems completely divorced from them up to this point.
And it could have been. Because, again, they're on their, like, a 300-year back foot. They've just lost the First and Second Balkan Wars. It's like, guys, while Europe's destroying itself, take the chance to, like, rest and recuperate.
Yeah.
But they won't, and you'll find out why.
If you wait an up stage, you get 5 CPA, five cohesion points back.
They could have used it. They could have done with that.
Their cohesion points must be dog shit.
Oh, yeah. They're in the minus, like, teens at this point, the Ottoman Empire.
No wonder they had to surrender. Or whatever happens to them in the end. Because I don't know the definitive conclusion to the Ottomans.
I guess we'll find out.
I'm excited. I love a cliffhanger. Oh, man, what a...
Just a crazy, like, one guy does something, and then it's just Europe is a tinderbox with a house of cards in it.
I can't really think of any other point in history where you can point to... I mean, there will be, courses taken by individuals, but I'm trying to think of other situations where you can very definitively point to one person and say, you did this.
And, like, have the fan out from them.
Yeah. Like, that big spread of this one action is so defined and so clear that it caused such a knock-on effect. Because there's huge numbers of factors that created World War One. We've you've done history segments on it. You've covered huge swathes of conflicts and alliances and agreements and political strife that have caused it. But the fact that you can pinpoint one action that's so universally agreed upon to be the fire that starts World War One. I can't think of anything else where it's so defined, especially not on that scale.
As, like, one guy.
Yeah, because World War II, for example,
I think
you don't have the one guy who... I mean, Hitler would be the easy answer, but you don't have. There's not a single moment where one person takes one action.
And also, I'm not a huge subscriber of the like great person theory of history, where it's like certain individuals will like arise and shape the world directly to their will. I think it's a lot more like people are the result of their conditions. Like, I think if you took Hitler out, you could still have had a Nazi Germany. I don't think there's anything unique about him. And I think it's a similar thing, probably like someone would probably have fucked it up and started World War One.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that you can't see
the guy that did it,
guy.
And the single action he took, which was to kill one person, well, two people, him and his wife. And that's the catalyst.
I think the only like comparable thing maybe is Martin Luther.
I was thinking
like Reformation, not civil rights.
Yes, I was thinking that you've got JFK, which
yes, I think you could probably throw Lee Harvey Oswald in there.
Massive political upset on the back of it.
Yeah,
but not a global conflict. Not in the same sense anyway. You get global conflict afterwards, but it's not a hot war.
I mean, if Lee Harvey Oswald had kicked things off in the same way Franz Ferdinand had, it would just be the world would just be craters. Like,
yeah, we managed to get a bit of a backstop on that, but that could have been the way that ends.
Yeah.
Well, we only have one way to stop that from happening here, if you think about it, because our life is sort of a similar powder keg. Our existence is we're in the throes of war.
We are.
But the difficulty is with us, we're not nations tied by weird, convoluted, and I guess betrayed constantly pacts between nations.
Oh, also secret pacts as well.
Yeah, we're not doing secret pacts. We're just friends that decided to get in on this, which means that in order to balance out this conflict, we're going to have to find a way to come together. And I think there has to be common ground.
Let's do it.
And now for something nicer. A little oasis in the war. It's time for some common ground. I'm trying the intro for common ground. I'm recording. Maybe. Yeah. So, in order to unite, this common ground it's my turn, and I've decided that we should unite on the idea that the world needs more numerous, dangerous locations naturally.
Interesting. Can you expand a bit? Because initial impression is danger bad.
Well, that's the initial impression, and that's good.
Okay.
Because you feel that.
Okay.
You know who doesn't feel that?
No.
The powerful.
Do they not?
I don't think so. Because right now, if you think about all of the superpowers in the world,
yeah,
they're all kind of thinking about what they can do politically. What they can do in terms of, I want to take this piece of land, I want to have this war. We don't really have, in a way, we don't have a common ground globally. We don't have dangerous spaces. We don't have areas we can't go anymore. Okay,
so you're thinking it was kind of good when a map had a sort of here be dragons.
Yes. I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing to go against.
Okay.
And I'm not talking about nations that are dangerous. I'm not talking about countries that are going to become a threat or places you can't travel to as a tourist because this area is particularly dangerous for somebody to go visit.
Yeah.
I'm talking about natural hazards.
So you're not adding like human danger?
No, I'm talking about like you can't travel to this place because there's, here be dragons.
Okay, so is it like releasing like dangerous animals? Is it like you get a bunch of like malicious evil landscapers to go in there and make like deceptively dangerous terrain? Like, what are you thinking in terms of making it more dangerous?
Well, the way to do it is going to be difficult. But the idea I had came from, I saw an article recently about the fact that now the Chernobyl exclusion zone has more natural wildlife than a lot of Ukraine's actual parks and national reservations.
Yeah, I've seen a similar thing about Hiroshima and Nagasaki where, because people have stayed away, there's almost been like a impromptu like nature
Yeah.
reserve.
And it was a combination of that, and this is into the more human side of things. I think it's North Sentinel Island.
Yes, the non-conductor tribe.
Yes.
They like killed a missionary a few years ago.
A few years ago, yeah, this missionary tried to sail over there, and he showed up, and they killed him. Because these guys they're a tribe that have been left isolated. So somebody shows up.
They're not fully isolated, by the way.
Well, not entirely, no.
Because there was that guy in like the 1600s, some British weirdo, who like went there and like took a bunch of slaves and was like measuring their genitals and doing weird shit to them.
Yes.
Which to them is like, yeah, have the cultural memory of the guys on the boats are fucking bad.
Yeah, there'll be a passed down message of, people show up and they do weird shit.
Yeah.
There was that, and there was an ongoing relationship as well for a little while on that island where somebody was showing up and they had sort of ongoing contact, but then it fell apart in, I think it was the early 1900s.
Yeah.
And since then it became, they've had a kind of sporadic contact, and sometimes it's neutral, sometimes it's hostile. Occasionally they'll have a kind of positive interaction. And I think that needs to be swapped around slightly, because that's a group of people who, they're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They just leave them alone. Just fuck off. Stop bothering them.
Yeah.
And I think that needs to be enforced, but with a different aspect of danger, because realistically, the nature of things are, any nation could send a group of people there and it could be catastrophe. Those people would be immediately destroyed. This island could become inhabited by...
At the very least, you get the plague thing. Because they don't have the immune systems, because they don't have exposure.
Best case, karmically, people show up to invade the island for no reason whatsoever, other than to be pricks. And they get afflicted with some illness.
So you saying, like, to protect the island, you, like, release a kraken around it?
Well, not necessarily that island, because I think that island should just be left alone.
Yeah.
But we should have other areas where we... Think of it like a video game, where you have, like, difficulty scaling. Some areas you can't go to until
you've got the, like,
level.
noob zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now, we're at the point where anybody can kind of go anywhere. Like, you know, a global power.
I'd say there's very much areas where it's much easier.
But, you know, say Britain, the US, any big power can kind of go anywhere in the world that isn't another area's border.
Okay, so
they can go to an uncharted island. They can show up at North Sentinel Island. They can do whatever they want without facing any real consequence.
So this danger needs to be dangerous enough to, like, is a deterrent to governments.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So I'm talking like some sort of, you know, if we're going down the monster route, let's do monsters.
Yeah.
You've got a Godzilla type thing, but this Godzilla, he's chill. He just wants to have his island. So if you want to show up and take on this Godzilla, you can't just show up with what we've got now.
You need
you need something, not necessarily bigger weapons. That's not going to do it. This monster, it's not going to react well to weapons. We need to figure out something better.
Who's making the monsters?
They exist naturally, ideally.
Okay. So I was kind of picturing an arms race between weird genetic environmentalists and the world government.
No, I think that's worse. That actually exacerbates the issue I'm trying to prevent.
Okay.
Which is that we kind of need a united cause to kind of go, well, these areas are too dangerous to figure out on our own by being selfish assholes.
Let's leave them alone.
Let's leave them alone or work together, and we'll take out what is, in this hypothetical situation, an objectively evil or damaging threat. It's a monster. It's bad inherently. It's got bad intent, it just can't leave.
Okay. So you kind of want to turn some uninhabited areas into, like, essentially, like, an MMO dungeon.
Yes, I want to create raids.
Cool. Because I was kind of picturing it like, ooh, this forest is getting a bit small. It's not being, like, conserved well enough. Let's release, like, a bunch of direwolves into it.
Well, you know what? That would have worked a while ago. But we've got to the point where that's not going to really do anything anymore.
So they need to be full on.
We can do whatever we want now. That's the problem. Me and you can't, but there are people that can. They need to have their ability tested a bit. They need to really think about their critical thinking.
Reinvitalize the man versus nature story element.
That needs to be reintroduced, because right now it's man versus man.
Okay.
We don't have unless you introduce aliens, which feels like a cop-out and sort of an end boss situation. I think there needs to be some sort of place in the middle where the world needs to become dangerous enough where we're thinking about that again.
So like Jurassic World.
Sort of,
where there's like the islands, I think they're at the equator.
Yes.
Where it's like the right environment for dinosaurs.
Yes.
You kind of want
Isla Nubla, I think it might be.
Something like that. But you want basically like islands like that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think once we manage to get that sorted, we need to bring it down a scale as well. And we need to introduce that domestically.
And that would be the direwolves into the forest that's getting over.
Yes.
Okay. So you just want to make the world more dangerous and wild.
I think so.
Okay.
I want there to be a bit more... It's a combination of a bit more mystery and also unifying us with the idea of, well, no one can go there. There are some areas where it's like, well, that's kind of dangerous, and only the accomplished and brilliantly minded champions, heroes, great people can go there. And it's not because they're just shits who get elected into that, or they're part of dynasties that just happen to have the influence to go there. We need to make it a bit of a challenge.
Okay.
I don't want people to just have free reign going anywhere anymore. I think we need to cut that out a bit. You go to the moon, that's tough. That's a natural difficulty. Going to the bottom of the ocean, that is. I think we've become a little bit too glib.
We've got too comfortable in our band.
We have, and it's not right. It's not fair. We've got too many problems going on now. It goes to show we haven't actually earned this part.
I thought I'd be more against this than I am. I'm just kind of fine with, let's get some monsters out there and let's leave some areas alone.
Because realistically, right now, the barrier for you to travel anywhere you want is money.
Yes, and even if it's like also a dangerous area, money will overcome it.
Yeah, you can pay to win. At the moment, right now, if you had £1 billion, you can go anywhere.
I do like the common thread for common ground. It's like, we don't like late-stage capitalism, but we're too dumb to come up with good solutions.
So we just put monsters
so we
in different
release
areas.
monsters into the world.
That's what common ground is just put monsters in places.
Just dumb fuck Karl Marx writing about, like, cryptids.
Why does it always boil down to just putting monsters in places? Is this a stupid segment?
Oh.
So put some monsters around the world and just see what happens. See, but they have to be hard enough. They have to be hard enough monsters to stop. Like, governments have a bit of a time with it, but they don't want to do anything bad. But they are evil.
So it's fine killing them, but
It's
they
fine
won't do
killing
anything wrong unless you go to their area, and then they'll be very territorial.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
And no one gets to make them. They just have to appear one day.
Okay.
Does this work?
No, but I do like it. I do want a bit of the, like, here be dragons. And then you'd also have, like, famous monster slayers, which seems like a fun category of celebrity.
You don't get that anymore.
No.
You've got singer, you've got politician,
Podcaster,
actor, and dickhead are the 5 celebrity categories.
Yeah.
Sometimes they cross over.
Let's add Monster Hunter to that.
Let's add Monster Hunter, because I don't think there'll be much overlap between more than... I think you get Monster Hunter and they overlap with like one more.
Yeah, there might be a monster hunter who like singing.
Yeah, you could get like a warrior poet.
Yeah.
Or you could get a monster hunter who becomes a king. Maybe not a king. King feels a bit...
Feels like a step back on
Yes,
this.
let's not go too medieval. Or a monster hunter who is also a stage performer.
Well, a lot of professional athletes sort of retire around the age of 30, but they're great shape. They want the discipline. Head out into the world, hunt some monsters.
Do the world a favour.
Messi's second act, he hunts and kills Godzilla.
Because he runs really fast and he can kick a ball.
And he's got the skills.
Yeah, I know Messi from football. I know of him anyway. I don't follow football, but I know he's a footballer. I don't know what team he plays for. Real Madrid? They're a good one, aren't they?
Sure.
I hear they're big in the football world these days. Arsenal, perhaps?
Don't think so.
I don't know. Chelsea? They're big.
I think he might be in America.
Yeah.
Because that's what footballers do now. They, instead of retiring and hunting monsters, they go to America and cash checks.
They become the monsters.
Yeah.
So that's what I want, Annie. I want a dangerous world. I feel like the anxiety of everyday life should be enforced upon the rich and powerful.
By monsters.
By monsters.
I'm in.
Are we not all facing our own monsters every day?
It's not profound.
But it is found.
It is.
As is, I would hazard to guess, our common ground.
It is. Here be monsters and we love it.
Here be monsters, here be dragons, and by the very nature of that, here be our farewell.
Stay subtle, humble, and brave.
In those very dangerous, monster-filled deserts of your minds. Farewell, and beware!